you, Debbie. Good morning. Welcome to the Church of the River, located in beautiful downtown Memphis, Tennessee. Now, for those of you who are joining us for the first time in person or via the internet, I am not the Reverend Sam Teitel, the minister of this church. My name is Christopher Douglas, and it is my privilege and my honor to be the president of the board of this congregation. Sam will be leading this worship service today after I deliver the welcome and read the morning's announcements. Anytime we can be together in this sanctuary is special, but we have the rare honor this morning to ordain our own Meredith Barber into the Unitarian Universalist ministry. Meredith served as our ministerial intern and was then called to be the interim minister. I've been trying to make sure I could get interim and intern straight. She has now been called to be the interim minister for Horizon UU Church in Carrollton, Texas. Carrollton is a city of about 100,000 in northeast Texas and is notable for being the corporate headquarters of Motel 6. It is also where Robbie Van Winkle went to high school. Now, is there anybody out there from the 80s who can tell me who Robbie Van Winkle is? Thank you. She serves as the interim minister in the town where Vanilla Ice went to high school. I'm sorry, for those of you who don't know, he was a rapper. Now, Carolyn Moore, the board president for Meredith's current congregation, wrote a greeting to our congregation, which I will now share with you. Speaking on behalf of the congregation and staff of Horizon, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for having Meredith serve as your intern minister. Notwithstanding her natural abilities, you obviously supported her well and helped her prepare for the ministry. She is currently serving as our interim minister, a challenging position to say the least, but we have no doubt that she is up to the challenge and that she will continue to help us prepare for our next settled minister. We consider ourselves lucky to have her, and thank you for your role in welcoming and preparing an outstanding new UU minister to serve in our church, as well as another lucky UU congregation sometime in the future. With gratitude, Carolyn Moore. So now is the time when I tell you that those of you who may need assisted listening devices or large print hymnals, someone in the back is going to wave their hand frantically. Well, so Sandra's going to be the person? Oh, she's pointing to where they are. Okay. Sandra is waving to where those devices are should you need them. Children in the sanctuary are always welcome, but if they prefer a more comfortable location from which to watch the live stream, the Mississippi River Room is open. Overflow from the sanctuary are welcome in the Mississippi River Room as well. Coffee hour will take place again after the service today and from now on prior to the service and for a short time after. Please remember that drinks are only allowed outside the sanctuary until the COVID risk level goes too low. Volunteers are needed to help with coffee hour. The holiest of high holidays, Kite Day, we have good writing here, will be celebrated next Sunday, April 3rd, pending cooperative weather. The awesome little choir will begin meeting again next Sunday morning, April 3rd at 10 a.m. in the sanctuary. Please come masked and celebrate the return of the ALC to the Sunday morning service. For more details on these and other Church of the River events and activities, email info@churchoftheriver.org, see the digital announcements in the Mississippi River Room, subscribe to our weekly mailing list, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. With no more announcements, our worship service will now begin, and it will begin with all of us rising in body or spirit as we can and singing the hymn 298, Wake Now My Senses, and it's 5 verses, folks. You have to turn the page.
Good morning. Sorry, I always get my mask stuck in these earrings. Hello, my name is Zara Razor, and I am a faith facilitator here at the Church of the River. We're excited to be offering religious education programming again for children 5 and up. So after the Time for All Ages today, if you do have a child who's 5 years or older, we would love to see them. But today we're excited to be ordaining Meredith Barber, and so I thought I would talk a little bit about becoming for our Time of All Ages today. And I have this lovely card here of the Church of the River courtyard. That's beautiful, and as you can see, we have so many beautiful trees, and we have even more out there to actually look at. And trees don't start out tall and mighty. In fact, a lot of things have to come together for a tree to grow, and it takes a long time. There are a lot of different types of trees and a lot of different paths. Some trees, like the oak tree, start out as acorns. Some start out as pine cones or prickly burrs. But if I took an acorn and just went and put it out in the church parking lot and really hoped it would grow, I don't think that we would see an oak tree in a couple of years. And, that's because trees are a lot like us. They need a lot of help to grow big and strong. They need the basics, like water and sunlight and soil, but they also need other things, like the good nutrients in the soil that they soak up when they grow. And we're like that too. To grow up to become firefighters or doctors or ministers, churchgoers and friends, we need a lot of things too, like food, water, and shelter, the basics. But we also need the good stuff in the soil, like love, community, and support. And with some work and some hope, we can grow up to become all of the things that we want to become, just like we are today ordaining Meredith. And so with that, if you'll please raise your blessing hands. You are beloved. You are sacred. You are powerful. Go now in peace.
On behalf of our ministerial intern committee and my co-chalice lighters, Pam Branham and Sandy Kozik, we offer these words. May this flame cast its light toward the coming days, reminding us that the future is not simply a place we are going, but a place we are creating. The path of new possibilities will not be found, but made. A new world is waiting to be built.
Good morning. I'm Pam Branham, And I also want to recognize Rochelle Anderson, who's also here from the intern committee. This is an excerpt from Howard Thurman for the Inward Journey, and it's called Keep Fresh Before Me the Moments of My High Resolve. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, despite the dullness and bareness of the days that pass. If I search with due diligence, I can always find a deposit left by some former radiance. But I had forgotten. At the time, it was full-orbed, glorious, and resplendent. I was sure that I would never forget. In the moment of its fullness, I was sure that it would illumine my path for the rest of my journey. I had forgotten how easy it was to forget. There was no intent to betray what seemed so sure at the time. My response was whole, clean, authentic. But little by little, there crept into my life the dust and grit of the journey. Details, lower level demands, all kinds of cross currents, nothing momentous, nothing overwhelming, nothing flagrant, just wear and tear. If there had been some direct challenge, a clear-cut issue, I would have fought it till the end and beyond. In the quietness of this place, surrounded by all-pervading presence of God, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in fair weather or in foul, in good times or in tempest, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve.
Our second reading today is entitled We Need One Another by George E. Odell. We need one another when we mourn and would be comforted. We need one another when we are in trouble and afraid. We need one another when we are in despair, in temptation, and need to be recalled to be our best selves again. We need one another when we would accomplish some great purpose and cannot do it alone. We need one another in the hour of success when we look for someone to share our triumphs. We need one another in the hour of defeat, when with encouragement we might endure and stand again. We need one another when we come to die and would have gentle hands prepare us for the journey. All our lives we are in need, and others are in need of us.
Hello. Oh, what a glory. This moment, this occasion, the ordination of Meredith. You know, it's at the center of our community of faith, which begins in the covenant, the promises of the people in the local congregation. And only there resides the agency for ordination. Only you, the members of a particular congregation, can do this. What a glory. What a glory that life rose from the sea and learned to love. What a glory that we are born into this world that we might grow in love, that we might grow into the life of the Spirit, which requires of us three things: humility, gratitude, and my purpose now, generosity. Now, in my experience, humility is, what should I say? A growing edge among Unitarian Universalists. Gratitude is well expressed in our worship, and now we get to practice generosity, and I say to you, this too is a glory. Since 1988, when our congregations ordain and install ministers, the offering is dedicated to the Living Tradition Fund. It offers need-based scholarships for theological students, new minister assistants, to reduce the burdens of high educational debt, and emergency assistance grants to seminarians, ministers, religious professionals, other congregational staff, retired ministers, and their loved ones. In addition, Meredith desires to honor the congregants of Horizon UU Church in Carrollton, Texas, whom she is now serving, especially those who could not be with us today. And important to the social work of that congregation is a program called Faith in Texas that focuses, among other things, on the problems of mass incarceration in Dallas. And we shall share the collection with our brothers and our sisters at Horizon to assist in that work. Now, during the many years I occupied this pulpit, there was a glory I loved to hear that was not the choir singing, nor the congregation singing hymns. It was the sweet sound during the offering of checks being ripped out of checkbooks. And now there are other methods for receiving your gifts. There is a black box on the wall over the credenza. You may text from your phone to give number, which is 901-350-2686, or scan the QR code on the back of your order of service. Go to our website and click on Donate. I, however, shall be tearing out a check for $100 today. And so now, to honor Meredith and to practice our faith by supporting the Living Tradition Fund and the Social Justice Mission of the Horizon Congregation, let us be generous. Let us be generous according to our means. The offering for the glory of our church, for the growth of our souls, will now be received.
Hi, y'all. My name's Sandy Kozik. I'm on the board, and I was also honored to be on the committee that kind of oversaw our little girl. Our little girl's grown up, Meredith. And I'm very honored that she asked me to read this because it gives me validation. My prayer from 8 or 9 years old, and I'm going to share it with you, is basically, oh dear God, thank you for everything and everybody. And you have to look at the light when you say this. Everything and everybody. Please watch over them and keep them all happy and safe and well and good. This is for you and me and everything and everybody. And at that point, then I reflect on the day past and the day coming up and thank. And I also imagine these, remember on Universal Studios at the beginning of their movies when that little airplane goes around the earth? That's everything and everybody. So anyway. So that being said, this gives me validation. Thank you, Meredith, for asking me to read Praying by Mary Oliver. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot or just a few small stones. Just pay attention. Then patch a few words together and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but the doorway into thanks and a silence in which another voice may speak.
Morning. It is so wonderful to see you all, everybody hanging out dressed in red. If this is your first Sunday here and you're wondering what's up with all the red, it is traditional to wear red to an ordination. We don't do this every week. Good morning. My name is Reverend Sam Tidal, and I serve as the minister of this congregation. And what a wonderful opportunity we have this morning to celebrate and to ordain our beloved friend, our beloved intern, former intern Meredith Barber. Meredith served as the intern, the ministerial intern for our church during the 2020 to 2021 congregational program year. She continued on as our summer preaching guest during the summer of 2021. So that year was an unusual time to step in and serve a congregation. Meredith served this congregation faithfully, served this congregation devotedly and well, and I believe today marks the third or fourth time that she's been inside the building. And I believe the first time she's been to a worship service in the sanctuary. Is that true? Yeah. She has been an incredible blessing to our congregation. We were blessed to have her, and to have her when we did. And so naturally, I want to mark this joyous occasion by telling you all a story from the Babylonian Talmud about a botched funeral. This is a story that happened in a part of the Talmud called Moed Katan, Daf 25a, if you're playing along at home. And it's a story about a funeral for a great rabbi named Rav Huna. And in the story, Rav Huna has died, and his students are trying to honor him and honor his life, and they're trying to give him a funeral that is in exact alignment with the ways that Rav Huna taught them that you should do a funeral. And things keep going wrong because they keep trying to do things in exactly what they were taught was the right way, and then they run into an obstacle, and all the obstacles that they run into could easily be dealt with. But the only problem is to deal with them would violate Rav Huna's teachings. Right, at one point they're trying to get the stretcher out the door, and the stretcher is too wide to fit through the door, and somebody says, well, could we use a thinner stretcher? And somebody else says, no. Rav Huna says you're not allowed to do that. And somebody else says, well, could we use the back door? And somebody else says, no, Rav Huna said you have to use the front door. So eventually they have to smash down the entire front of the house in order to make the door wide enough. And you just picture Rav Huna watching them from wherever he was beyond this life and thinking, they're not seriously going to smash the wall of my house, are they? Okay, I guess they are. Because what Rav Huna's students didn't realize, what they weren't taking into account was their own work, their own spiritual teaching in this world. What they didn't recognize was that their own wisdom was just as valid as anything that they had ever been taught. Meredith, you have been blessed, just like Rav Huna's students, to have had many teachers and mentors on your journey towards ordained ministry. And speaking, it's weird to say speaking as one of those teachers and mentors, but that's literally what I am. I'm going to speak for all of us when I say that we have tried to the best of our ability to show you the different ways in which a person can embody the role of minister, and to show you the different methods that a person can use to teach and to preach and to make decisions from the perspective of that role. But we've all done this not because we expect you to do things our way, but because we trust you. Because we respect you as our colleague and as a person of wisdom and fierceness. And your job now is to look at everything that you've learned and notice the things that you think will be useful to you and will serve you in your ministry. Take those things with you and leave the rest behind. All of the training, all of the schooling at a wonderful seminary, the internship at a wonderful congregation, the CPE residency, everything you've done, the most important lesson of all of it was that you are capable of knowing who you are as a minister and living into that identity in a way that makes sense for you in the moment that you are in. This is applicable to a person really in any trade, right? Anyone who was learned from other people. You know, you and I were working together to pastor this church through the COVID-19 pandemic, through the difficult middle of that pandemic. And we learned over and over again, every single day, that sometimes the traditions that we know and love have a solution to the exact problem that is in front of us, and often they don't. And so you just kind of make it up. And you know that making it up in those moments is one of the most crucial parts of what we do. You know, in the reading that we began with this morning, Howard Thurman prays that he will not forget that to which his life is committed. So, Meredith, when you are encountering difficulty and you are not sure what to do next or how to make it up, ask yourself, to what is your life committed? Because make no mistake, today you are committing your life to something. You are committing to doing the ministry that the world is asking you to do, the ministry that you have been called to do and that this congregation is ordaining you to do. You are committing to doing what you have been called to do by all that is good and holy in this world and beyond it. So when in doubt, when you aren't sure what to do, simply ask yourself, what can I do that aligns closest with the work to which I have committed my life? Meredith, I've come to know you over the course of the past couple years as somebody who is tenacious, somebody who has an independent spirit and a love for ministry. And in the world that we live in now, this world that is full of confusion and pain and beauty and struggle and grace, your ministry is desperately needed. So your job now is to do the ministry. Your job is to get the ministry done. Right? You don't worry about doing it in exactly the way that you've been taught. I don't know that you even need to worry about too much about doing it well, because you will do the ministry well if you do it in a way that makes sense to you. Just do the ministry. Embody the ministry in a way that is entirely your own. And when it is time to pass on what you know to others who do the work, know that they will do the work in a way that is unique to them. And that is how you will know that you have succeeded. Congratulations, my beloved friend, and amen.
In the Unitarian Universalist tradition, it's only, as Burton said, it is only the congregations that have the authority and the privilege to ordain ministers. We have the honor and responsibility of adding another minister to the lineage of clergy that reaches far back in time and far forward into the future. We confer the sacred charge upon our ministers, entrusting them with the lifelong task of ministry. The act of ordination bestows the authority of religious leadership, the title of reverend, and the privilege to wear a stole. Today, the members of the Church of the River ordain Meredith Barber to the Unitarian Universalist ministry. Recognizing your call to serve this faith, your achievement of a Master's of Divinity, and having received the recommendation of the Ministerial Fellowship Committee of the UUA and entered into preliminary fellowship, by the authority of the unanimous vote of this congregation, we wish to offer you ordination. Meredith, as you make your entrance into ordained ministry, will you try to care for yourself as you care for others, to reach out and keep reaching out when you need it? Will you share the load of ministry?
I will.
As you enter the ministry today, will you commit to try to live a spiritual life, to always seek the sacred in the ordinary, and to look for joy in the common things of life?
I will.
Will you promise to try to tell the truth in ministry and to do it with love? Will you try to create a world that is more just for all people? Will you always seek to draw the circle wide?
I will.
Finally, as you enter into ministry today, do you promise to try to keep a sense of humor? To let yourself laugh, to balance the weight of this calling with levity?
I will.
So I'm reading now that there's a presentation of the stole. Good, you brought it. Okay. Meredith, your family will place upon your shoulders a stole after I move out of the way. A privilege of ordination that represents the yoke, the heavy load of ministry. It is made only of fabric and thread, but we know that its weight is great. May it serve as a reminder to live spiritually, to love boldly, and to lead bravely. Go forth, a minister of this tradition, knowing that we, the Church of the River, commission you, for we know that you are fully capable of carrying the weight of your commitments with grace.
I don't do this just every week with a daughter. As has been said this morning, in our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we, all of the people gathered, bless the one to be ordained and affirm their calling to ministry by the laying on of hands. Meredith, would you like to kneel? And now Meredith's family will come forward. Kyle, Roger, Dad, and Nathan, brother, and lay a hand on Meredith's shoulder. Lay on her a gentle and loving hand. And now I invite all the members of the clergy present to step forward and to lay hands either on Meredith or on the shoulder of the person nearest you, forming an unbroken line of blessing. Blessing Meredith, and offering the blessings of our living tradition of ministers, both departed and alive, and those ministers in whose line we stand. And now, and this might be a little complicated, but it is holy and it will be fun, I invite the congregation to come forward and to encircle Meredith and this gathering with your presence. Each of you placing a hand on the shoulder or the back of the person nearest you. We may not all fit quite down here, but we are going to make a holy circle of love and support to ordain this Meredith, this person, to our ministry. You can be anywhere it fits. And if you wish to stay seated, that is totally okay. I invite you, as you feel comfortable, to place a hand on the person nearest you. And we will take our time as we bring everyone together for this blessing. I invite you all to join me in the spirit of prayer. Breath of life, God of many names, you who dwell within us and among us, surround us with the spirit of love as we lay our hands upon one you have called to our ministry, Meredith Barber. We give thanks for all who have walked with Meredith and helped to shape her for ministry, her teachers, her colleagues, her friends. We give thanks for Kyle, her life partner, who each day walks by her side, and for the love they share. We give thanks for all of Meredith's family. May the voices and the love of all the generations of her people, the Jeremiahs and the Richmonds, the Polands and the Nielsen's, move through her on this day and on all of her days. May the love of all of her family be with Meredith always. Spirit of life, your spark shines within each one of us. May that spark now flow from us to Meredith. May she feel this holy circle of love, and may it surround her and sustain her, both now and in all her days to come. As she lives out her calling, may the memory of this day give Meredith strength. May Meredith walk with integrity and embody compassion. May she speak the truth in freedom and in love. May her words be words of wisdom. May she work to help build a world that is more loving and more just for all people. May Meredith seek always to draw the circle wide. May Meredith live and minister with courage and with humor. And on those days when ministry is both baffling and frustrating, may she let levity and laughter lighten the load, both for her and for her people. May she share the mantle of ministry by reaching out for help when she needs it. May she care for herself as she cares for her people. May she nourish in herself and in others a spirit of grace. May she nurture her soul with the beauty of small stones and weeds and sunrises, and with all the joys of everyday life. May Meredith live spiritually, love boldly, and lead bravely. And may she remain faithful to her people, to her family, and to herself, and always to you. Loving God, walk beside Meredith on her path and hold her forever in the light of your love. Together on this day we pray, go forth into the world in peace, Meredith. In all your days have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the suffering, and always honor every body and all beings everywhere. Love and serve your people, Meredith, rejoicing in the great mystery that dwells within you and within all of us, always and forevermore. Amen, and blessed be.
So can I get a Reverend Meredith Barber up here? Woo! Hi friends, my name is Jamie Dingus. I'm the minister of the UU Church in Huntsville, Alabama. And Meredith, I have a charge for you. First, I want you to know that I love you, and I see your ministry, your humor, your strength, your confidence, your leadership. Your work is so, so needed in this chaotic world. And in this precious moment where we all together recognize a truth that has been true for a long time now, I want to big you up and charge you to grow even more deeply into this calling. You already know that this work is good and it is unbelievably hard. As a minister, the people want you to be so many things. A saint, and a therapist, and an activist, and a punching bag, and a daughter, and a second chance at a dream unfulfilled, a scapegoat for trauma. And against that, you have to be wholly yourself, with your flaws and your gifts, a good minister with boundaries and expectations and a challenging vision for the future of our faith. Remember this today and all days, that none of us here are ordaining you to be those kinds of people that the people wish you would be. We are ordaining you because the world needs a ministry that only you can offer. And now I want to say something hard. I want to speak to you as someone who knows the particular fun challenge that is being a young, beautiful woman in ministry in the South. I know. I want to give you something to hold on to when it's hard. For every man that will kiss your cheek in the receiving line without asking, for every elder who will doubt your wisdom or tell you that you look like a little kid in your robe, for every interfaith colleague who won't take your title, Reverend, seriously, and every stranger that will jeer and say, well, I'd go to church if the preacher looked like that. For all that, and all the other unfair BS that you will endure, I want to remind you that there will be good things in there too, and they won't make up for sexism and ageism in our denomination, but they will help to heal the wounds of them. A young person in your next congregation will say, wow, I never thought my church would call a minister that looks like me. Children will grow up thinking of your face when they hear the word pastor. People with other marginalized identities, people of color, trans people, disabled people, will have a slightly easier time getting their foot in the door because you opened it first and you held the door behind you. Remember to hold the door behind you. And I'll be there, and all the other fabulous young women clergy will be there, and we will roll our eyes and wipe your tears and be with you along the way. On this sacred day, I charge you to stay accountable to the heart of your calling, to love people generously, to seek justice actively, and to embrace innovation. In that work, I charge you to take such good care of yourself. You are a minister now for life, but ministry need not be your entire life. Keep prioritizing your peace, your family, your life with Kyle and the cats. Churches will take as much of you as you will give. Save some of yourself back for the people and the life that gives back to you. And last, I leave you with the only wisdom that has never let me down. Lean on your colleagues. You aren't in this alone. There are people all over the country, all over the world, praying for your success. And a few of them sent some special blessings for you today. So the Reverend Sally Fritchie from Urbana-Champaign, Illinois writes, Meredith, I hope you take your time. Do not rush being new. Being recently ordained is a chance to notice and name what has become invisible to our more seasoned colleagues. As you step fully out of the laity and into your life as Reverend, may you bring fresh insight, clear vision, and a frank, grounded love for these people and the world. The Reverend A.J. Van Tyne from Rochester, New York says, may your ministry be broad and include space for breath, for silence, and for spirit. May you find ways back to the center whenever it gets hectic, and it will. And Chloe Brede, the minister in Augusta, Maine, writes, I'm sending blessings of limits, working hard to expand the circle wide, pushing our folks toward justice and equity, and resting when you need it so you can stay with us for the long haul. Reverend Meredith Barber, I'm in this for the long haul with you. Our faith and our broken world needs your best. Be yourself. Remember to hold open the door for those who come after. Be a whole person who rests and loves and laughs and lives, and be a generous colleague. Take this charge and go be the badass minister that you are. Congratulations, Reverend Barber. Blessings to you and your ministry.
Well, Reverend Barber, it is my role to participate in more tradition. So as this congregation has witnessed, there are so many elements that we have witnessed that have been happening for thousands of years. From the laying on of hands, from the calling from the people, this is a moment that we are rooted in so many traditions. So the one that I am blessed to share with us all today and with my colleague is the right hand of fellowship. It comes to us from the New Testament in the Christian tradition, from the book of Galatians, in which Paul is given the handshake from the other main faction of Christianity that has been trying to figure itself out. So as is tradition, I will first offer you the right hand of fellowship into the fold of ordained ministry on behalf of the colleagues here and on behalf of the colleagues beyond. But if you happen to know me, and I'm realizing I didn't introduce myself, my name is Reverend Sandra Summers. I am an ordained pastor here in Memphis, Tennessee, who happens to think that you have a very lovely senior pastor. Maybe I'll marry him one day. So if you know me, you know that I am often anything but traditional. So I am actually going to offer you, and I know somebody in this congregation is going to correct me on pronunciation. I'm going to offer you an almanad left, which is a call from square dancing, in which, and this is going to get awkward for a minute, and we're going to do it. So this is a call in square dancing that you turn to your corner. I invite you to always remember to turn to your corner of your colleagues, because it is a heavy hold, and it is a mutual hold, and it is deeper than a handshake, because we are in this together, in this beautiful and glorious work, to continue to remind people that they are beautiful and glorious. So may you remember that you can always Almanad lift and be supported by your colleagues. So, church, we have done good church today. Let us all rise in body and spirit and sing together with our voices. Number 108, My Life Flows in Endless Song.
Friends, you all, each in your own way, have quietly nourished me. Friends, colleagues, family, each one of you. I'm blessed to have you witness this ceremony today, and may you go in peace. Amen.